Hello, welcome to my review of the Victorinox Explorer Swiss Army knife. It's shiny and new. In about a week's time it'll be all scuffed up and gone to hell like they all do, but it's part of the fun, and I suspect it's also done on purpose by them, so it gets people like me hungering for that new Victorinox shiny feeling again when you first play and open all the tools and everything snaps shut. Well, I mean, they still snap shut after years, but everything's all shiny and you can see your reflection in the mirror finish of every surface. Yep, that's a nice thing to have for the few days that it lasts. Anyway, this Victorinox Explorer, 4 layers of tools, one slightly thicker layer, 91mm long, has a tool set not dissimilar to your average. It's got nothing particularly spectacular in regards to omissions. So it's got two knives, one large, one small. It's got your opener layer, it's got scissors, and the back side is corkscrew, packaging hook and all. I'll go into all these in detail, of course. It's part of the fun. But the two main tools, and the two tools that I was really interested in, was first this magnifying glass, all plastic there. It does a reasonable job at, let's get my finger up there. It does do quite a reasonable job at magnifying. Give it some shadow. You can just see how big it's made. Makes my knuckle quite large there. It's good. And on the other side, which is what I think is probably the best, is a nice straight shanked Phillips driver. Why they don't put this on more of the tools, I will never know. Often it is on the back, with a sort of making it a T-handle instead of a corkscrew, which I'm also fine with because I think corkscrews are a bit silly. But then the corkscrew can fit the eyeglass screwdriver down it, and then with the screwdriver, the Phillips attachment, you can't get a pin in that pinhole either. At any rate, so yeah, you've got two really quite interesting tools there. One is a bit more of a curiosity, this magnifying glass, but the Phillips head I think should be instead of the can opener on all of these tools. Fair enough, the flat shank, that's fine, and the bottle opener, of course, but I think the modern day use for a can opener is diminishing by the second, because most cans have pull rings on them now. And as for the small flat screwdriver on the top, well, that was the poor man's Phillips anyway, to fit into your Phillips head screws. Not that the can opener is a bad tool, it's just it's on every Victorinox, and I don't know why really. Anyway, let's go through it all. Got your standard knife blade, comes very, very sharp from the box, still highly reflective, which is nice. You've got your seemingly even sharper and a bit more likely to cut myself on. This little blade here is always really, it always gets me. I don't know why. I think it's when you open it all up, and I think I misjudge its size or misjudge it's how eager it is to snap back or something. I've got myself on that little blade several times. Next along is everyone's favourite, the large Victorinox scissors with their seemingly fragile leaf spring, but they have made some improvements. They've put a little guide track there, and it corresponds with a little kink in the back of the spring, so you know, it keeps it on track at least. Focus. Which is cool, and they're good scissors. They're easily on par with the best that Leatherman does, probably on par with the Juice CS4 or S2 scissors. Very cool. Next you've got, as I said, you've got your Phillips, which locks at a 90 degrees, so you can still torque, for all those ones who love it on the back. And then you've got, it snaps really firmly into place for a nice long bit driver, long for a tool of this size anyway. if you've seen my Leatherman CS4 Juice, the bit driver is only about that long, and it's a tool of about the same length at least, double the thickness of course, and then it snaps back. The head there is quite sharp and quite well machined as well. Sometimes these are overly polished and they lose their corners a bit, but that's quite jagged. In fact, this corner here acts as the nail nick for pulling it up, or one of the ways of pulling it up. I tend to have been just grabbing it from the top and pressing the skin on the end of my finger into the tip, which hurts a bit, but you know what hurts even more? Dragging your nails on stuff. Anyway, the magnifying glass works for just reading, and you hold it about 2 inches or 3 inches above the page. If you hold it too far, it makes everything upside down and just blurs everything, doesn't work. It's hard to demonstrate through a camera, but it does work. It's for things, I intend on using this at work, where I often have to read little serial numbers on car parts and parts of firearms and stuff. And you really do struggle even with I got reasonable eyesight when I got my glasses on, but I thought a little magnifying glass might give me an edge. And then of course you get to the layer of openers, so the can opener and tougher when the other one's open. Stresses that back spring a bit, I think. So they got the bottle opener and flathead driver, and your small flathead can opener on the other side. On that little notch there is supposed to be a wire stripper, but I don't think anyone's stripped wire with it. Swiveling it over, you've got the famously nail-busting awl, which got a really thin little bastard of a nail nick to get in there. You can just feel your nail lifting a millimetre or so off your skinnier thumb, off the surface of your thumb. Brilliant stuff. But it's a good awl when you get it out, and it's good for it's got a nice sharp little blade. You could cut yourself on it if you weren't careful. Got a sewing eye, so you can sew up your sails next time you're out on the ocean in your seafaring vessel. All that. Good little tool. But we'll all probably just use it to make extra holes in our belts when we lose all that weight we intend on losing for the summer, hey? Yeah, you got the package hook, or the all-purpose hook as they call it. For some reason it goes back, and I think it intends to go back, maybe so you can stand the knife up proudly for photographs. There we are, wow, that's definitely what it's for. You could put a little hat on it, I'm not sure. No one really, well, everyone knows what the hook used to be for. In Switzerland, you used to have to carry your paper packages, and you'd be able to loop like six or seven bits of string from all your mail and carry all your mail at once, and just a nice old handle like that. Or you could hang up your clothes or your socks at camp after they've been wet or something like that. So I guess it doesn't hurt being there, so I guess they figure you may as well keep it there. It's always on the back of the scissor layer, so scissors and hooks seem to go together. Then you've got bottle opener, another useless tool. I haven't had a bottle of alcohol or bottle of wine that had a cork in it for years, unless you must have to buy really expensive stuff to still get corks. I could probably see you might even use a Victorinox if you're out, even with posh wine, because there's something a bit posh about Victorinoxes, I think, just because they're so well known. No one's going to think you're weird for producing one. In fact, I think you think of what's on a Victorinox pocket knife, and the first couple of things that jump into your head are screwdriver, knife, and corkscrew. And there you go. Tweezers, which could work really well in conjunction with magnifying glass. Okay, so you've got a thing to pull out. See, that's a really good demonstration of the zoom, isn't it? Look at that. Say if there was a hair growing out of this table, the wood had sprouted hair, for me to obviously send it to some people to do science all over it to work out why that happened, I'd need to pull it out. And I'd really be able to focus down on it, do some precision tweezing work with the magnifying glass, which is actually pretty cool. Just popped into my head then. And then the toothpick, which I don't really use on my teeth, but I do use to gouge out the tracks of the tools when it's all dirty and covered in pocket lint. So the purpose of this particular multi-tool, I think I still call these, I think of these as pocket knives still. Multi-tool I think is pliers, Leatherman butterfly opening, or Gerber sliding opening, I don't know. Still just a pocket knife to me, even when they do have pliers on them. I'm not sure. The purpose of the pocket knife is less for the outdoors and more for just your daily urban carry, I think, and it's quite a good choice because once you start adding any more, say if you were to add that plier layer, which I would think, oh yeah, pliers would be good on this. I probably wouldn't give up anything on here for the pliers though, apart from like, you know, the can opener, but then you wouldn't be able to fit the whole pliers there anyway. So once you start adding the extra layers, you start getting those big bulky pocket knives that you start to have to kind of hold them like this, and you get your little knife blade out, and there's a single knife on the end of this huge brick that goes out to about here, you know. So for an urban pocket knife, you could probably be your sole carry really. The Victorinox blades are good enough that you don't need to carry a second knife. I mean, you only carry a second knife because you like carrying knives, and you might like having a one-hand opener or a pocket clipping knife or something. But really, you could chuck a little one of those tie amulet clips on that I've shown on one of my other videos, and hang this in the inside of your pocket, and you'd do fine, I think. And I can't recommend it highly enough. I'm really enjoying it at the moment. I mean, I've only had it for a day, so it's more of an unboxing than a review, an overview really. But if anything goes wrong, like if the magnifying glass sets a fire in my pants or something, then I'll be sure to let you know. But I'm pretty sure you can all safely assume that this is going to just do well for me, I think. And it would make a really good gift as well. It's got just enough interest about it, like with the magnifying glass, to make it a bit more interesting, rather than just like your standard getting someone a tinker or getting someone a farmer or something. I'm glad they didn't put a saw on it, because those tools, unless you're getting a Swiss champ, I think you get Victorinoxes for the city or Victorinoxes for the outdoors, and this is definitely one for the city. Don't really need a saw in the city. At any rate, that's about all I can think to say about this cool little tool, and thank you very much for watching, and see you later.